Democratic Labour Party's St. John bastion appears to be breaking up across political party lines. That's our top story in our Barbados Today Morning News Update for Wednesday, May the 9th. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. The traditional Democratic Labour Party stronghold of St. John appears to be splitting up across political party lines. The entry of St. John native Leroy McLean into the general election race seems to have left many DLP supporters caught between two Dems, McLean, who's now running as an independent, and General Secretary George Pilgrim, who won the party nomination over McLean. At the same time, though, the opposition Barbados Labour Party's Charles Griffith seems to be a growing force in the election contest.
It's Pilgrim the people want. You see, he was up for nomination, right? And they got Pilgrim. I should tell you now, it's Pilgrim the people want. The people want Pilgrim. And he got handpicked by Marva too. So sorry.
Leroy and myself gone back a long time. I know Leroy very personally, but he ran an independent candidate. It's very hard for him to win. And George Pilgrim, no one knew really nothing much about George, but I hope if he don't win, I hope Leroy McLean win. I'm nothing to do with the Barbados Labour Party.
I think Charles is the better candidate as a person from the area and more in touch with us. And the office obviously right there in Front Road. And most of the time all of us is just vote for DLP because of our parents, and you know what I mean, it's enough. A lot of people in St. John that just decided to start and think for themselves, and actually, because the DLP was in power the last election, and most of the youngsters in St. John still unemployed, or you know what I mean, we don't have a voice in St. John. So I think Charles is the person that can give us a better representation for St. John. I was once a D.
Yes, it is breaking, definitely. The people have had enough. They can't take it no more, you know, and they're ready to make a change, right? And even the picnic that was down the East Coast recently, I mean, have you seen the amount of people from St. John that was ran red who went and support that picnic, you know? That's a strong indication of what is going to happen, right? And they strongly believe that. I believe it's going to be a close run. It's going to be a very close run. And I strongly believe that Charles Griffith stands a great chance of winning the seat of St. John.
In other news now, prominent Queen's Counsel Andrew Pilgrim has been placed before the Disciplinary Committee of the Barbados Bar Association by Magistrate Graveney Bannister. It would appear that an apology from Pilgrim was not enough to persuade Magistrate Bannister to put to bed an angry outburst in court last month by the prominent lawyer, which ended with an expletive. So, Bannister has written to the Disciplinary Committee of the Bar recommending disciplinary action against Pilgrim, who lost his composure on April 27th after the magistrate apparently reversed his own decision to dismiss the case against one of Pilgrim's clients if the prosecution were not ready to proceed. A document related to the disciplinary matter was in circulation on social media, and Pilgrim said in response he only knew about the action against him when a friend sent the information to him on Monday night. He said he would have preferred knowing about it before it had reached the public because any trial could affect his career and his livelihood. The Electoral and Boundaries Commission will today announce if St. Lucian Professor Eddie Ventos can register and vote here as a Commonwealth citizen. EBC attorney Brian Barrow told Barbados Today the commission will today deliver a comprehensive statement on the issue following a meeting last night to discuss Monday's appeal court ruling, which gave the state entity 24 hours to determine whether or not it would put Ventos on the electoral list. Ventos was part of a lawsuit challenging the EBC's policy of refusing to register Commonwealth citizens to vote here.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
One night, one winner, only one team can deliver. Balance, comprehensive, unrivaled coverage. Barbados Today, Capital Media HD 99.3, and 6 Gear Studios. Don't miss election night on www.facebook.com/ Barbados Today on www.barbadostoday.bb, live on www.capitalmediahd.com and on www.facebook.com/Capital Media HD.
Welcome back with news from the region now. The legal advisor to the Commonwealth Secretariat is recommending that Guyana should introduce lifestyle audit legislation. He said this would help the country to identify money launderers and tax evaders.
It's Canada's way of taking a close look at individuals who seem to be living far beyond their means. The legal advisor to the Commonwealth Secretariat, Shadrach Haruna, thinks that lifestyle audit legislation would go a far way in countering money laundering and tax evasion. Lifestyle audit legislation has been very effective for the Canadian authorities. Mr. Haruna thinks that Guyana will be taking a step in the right direction to inject a lifestyle audit in its laws.
Well, I think it is a very good anti-money laundering type of legislation. We do have a moral legislation which looks at the unexplained wealth order, similar to what you have just mentioned, and we expect that member countries like Guyana should also reflect it in their legislation.
And on the international scene, Syrian state media accused Israel of launching missiles at targets near Damascus on Tuesday, shortly after U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he was quitting the Iranian nuclear deal, a move that had prompted Israel to go on high alert. We hear more on the development in this Reuters report.
The U.S. decision to exit the Iran nuclear deal had immediate reverberations in Jerusalem, Riyadh, Tehran, and beyond. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised the move.
Israel fully supports President Trump's bold decision today to reject the disastrous nuclear deal with the terrorist regime in Tehran.
But at the same time, Israelis in the northern Golan Heights were on high alert. Authorities instructed residents to unlock and ready bomb shelters after identifying what the military described as, quote, irregular activity of Iranian forces in Syria. Israel sees Iran as its primary regional rival, and Netanyahu has